What's happening, people? It's Triple coming down up in the place on location, and I have a special guest with me. Introduce yourself.
I'm Pierce. I don't have any cool name.
All right, that's cool. Right now, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. As you can see, we're on location. So pretty much, it's going to be about the release of the Weeknd's new album, After Hours. And we're going to kind of, banter a little bit about it, give it a little review, give a rating for it. And you can, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and everything will be in the description below as usual.
Damn, sound like you've done this before.
Just a little bit. The homie's done it just a little bit. But I'll start with this question to you.
Sure.
So far, what we know about The Weeknd is he's a transcendent figure to some, maybe revered to others, maybe a little bit something else to others, you know what I mean? But what is he to you?
Weeknd. He's, to me, in my mind, he started as a guy that was hoping to pioneer a sound that was belonging to Toronto. And then when he was finished with that, he kind of went on and decided he was going to go for bigger and went on for pop, And so in my mind, he's always existed as this guy who helped Toronto create its sound, and then decided I'm going for top tier. I'm gonna leave that behind, and I'm gonna show these people I can do bigger things.
Elevate.
Yeah, and he just and he did it. He left that behind and made a very pop sound for himself, at least in my ears, but a sound that seems to be working well for the success of his career.
I feel you on that. As a counter, I'll respond and say that I agree with everything you're saying, and it's a good look for artists that come from Canada as a whole. I don't care if it's East Coast, West Coast. I mean, majority is from the East Coast right now, but it doesn't matter where you're from. Guys like that and Drake and whosoever else, Tory, they help to put our industry on a different platform that gives other artists, such as myself, Triple, a more, I guess you say, open perspective of what is possible and what isn't possible at the highest and lowest levels. Right? That's how I look at them, as an artist first. And for me, when you're an artist, you kind of have a different perspective of other artists. It's kind of like how basketball players, when they're always dapping each other or whatever, it's like they're in a fraternity now because it's like they made it to a level that not everyone else makes, right? So while somebody on the outside who sits there as a fan and boos and throws beer at people, right? They don't get it because they're not there, right? So it's like you have a different love or respect, even if you don't like the guy, but you have a certain respect for the art because it's like you're in the same field.
Right.
You can be a fan of somebody, so even if somebody might say shit, maybe the album's not shit to you. Yeah. It might be a disappointment, but I think it changes your perspective,
Yeah, that makes sense to me because I don't love his music today, and I'm not an artist myself, but as a fan, I don't love everything he's putting out today, but still appreciate the fact that he's just another kid from Toronto who is doing something really special, So that's pretty cool to me, just to see, as also a person who has grown up in Toronto, just like you were saying, he's demonstrated along with a few others what can be possible for people who are otherwise just people from this ordinary city.
That was actually hilarious. This ordinary city. Yeah, I feel you. But enough with a little bit of the, I guess you can say, background, but we're going to be kind of discussing a little bit of depth, like we are known to do, but we're finally getting a visual for what we always do, which is cool because I always wanted to do this. And rather than call you Pierce, I'd rather go by your real name, which I say real name, Perspective by Pierce, which is which will be in the link in the description below, of course, and you'll be able to link the homie. You can see what he does. He's an artist himself. He doesn't want to admit it, but he's a photographer. He does his thing. Long and short. So let's get into it. After Hours.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I didn't love the album.
That was fast.
I stopped really liking his stuff after like the trilogy stuff, or after his
That's pretty early.
his first three. Actually, no, it's a lie. I did like, okay, so after his first three things, his first three mixtapes, House of Balloon Thursday, and I forget the third one now. But anyway, after
I think it's Echoes of Silence.
Yeah. I forget the order, but those three. I really like those. And then he followed up with, I think, Kissland.
Yes.
Which I thought was trash, and probably his worst project out of everything he's ever put out. And then followed up with that one with the black and white cover. I don't know, like
I think it's something like Beauty Behind the
yeah,
Mask.
I think that one came after, and so that one I like, and then I think Starboy came after that. Anyway, Starboy for me was the one that like he's decided, you know what? Up until that point, he seemed pretty not like behind the scenes, but he started his whole career on this like mysterious sort of thing, right? Nobody knew what he looked like or whatever. And I feel like he kind of kept up that persona until Starboy. Starboy was when he was like, all right, we're going pop star. Like, we're going like all the way out, right?
Oh, I was actually right. Beauty Behind the Madness.
Yeah.
And you're right, Kissland.
Yeah, trash, pure trash. So then Starboy happened, and I did like a couple of songs from that album, but the album overall I didn't love. And ever since then, I feel like I've only liked a few songs from each album he's put out. So this one included. I think there were a few that I liked, but overall is not for me. But that's okay, because apparently billions of other people like it. So he's certainly doing something right with his art, but it's just not. There's not like what I love from him. I love the really early Weeknd stuff, Pineapple Hair Weeknd stuff. That's my guy.
So in other words, you love the guy who was mysterious and pretty much a shadowy figure that was in the shade of gray, like 50 Shades, gray area, which is ironic because he did the 50 Shades of Grey soundtrack with that song.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I liked him because of that. No. I just liked what he was doing when he was doing that. I liked the music he was creating when he was doing that. That was the stuff I really liked from him. But I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about just like where his music has gone and like what he's doing now. I don't know what other questions you have. I don't know if I'm like messing up your whole thing here.
No. This is supposed to be an open dialogue where we just give our thoughts about the Weeknd, but mostly about After Hours and, and how it shapes and reflects.
Right. Okay. Well, then I want to connect that to the Super Bowl because
definitely.
I
was gonna get to that, so that's good.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought like the album. I think the album is cool because of what he's doing with like the character, for example, and I think the sounds are cool as well. Like that one song that's like just inescapable. What is it?
We'll just check.
The 80s one. They're like I forget what it's called. It's so popular, but like I don't like the song really. But Blinding Lights. That's the one. So this song is breaking all kinds of records. It's TikTok popular. It's like everywhere popular, right? But it's got this 80s sound, which I think is really cool that he's like borrowing from and sort of like turning into his own thing. Yeah. But it's also really cool that like somebody from Toronto again is responsible for doing just like just breaking all these records and like and reaching that level. Yeah. Like that's pretty crazy to me. The Super Bowl, I think I was reading, he's the first Canadian since Shania Twain to do the show, but then he might be the first one from Toronto to like
do the show.
I don't know where Shania Twain is from, but I don't
She
think
definitely ain't from here.
she might be. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff enough to even know. But
yeah, I don't know that.
So for on that level, I think that's really cool that he can be that person. But yeah, first Canadian in a while, and there have been so many like Canadian artists who have been probably popular enough to like do a Super Bowl halftime show, but it's just, I don't know, for whatever reason they haven't been the ones to do them, and he's the guy. He's the guy at the moment. And then this all connects to like the Grammy snub thing in my mind, because it's like he's reaching all these heights with his music and then got snubbed on the awards show.
I thought that was distasteful, embarrassing.
A lot of people did.
You know, there's so many things that I feel like you pretty much explained everything. I mean, you don't get called to do the Super Bowl if you're horrible. And the fact that he did the show without anybody else, it was just him. And he made a theatrical theater. I mean, think about this. He was so in character. Every performance, every single show he would go to.
Or appearance, just leading up to that, right?
He was wearing the suit. The suit, I don't know if that thing has been dry cleaned or
he's probably got 11 of them, because you see all the guys in the show, they all have the same suit too. So
okay.
He's probably got all those were probably his.
He's like, here, wear these guys.
I know just the thing.
Yeah, this will do it all. I mean, think about it. Like, how often do you see an artist be that compelling that they decide to play a character for a whole entire?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I would assume someone else has done something like this before. I don't know who, but it's a very cool idea. It's a very cool idea to incorporate into your art, you know, to like play that character.
And they even have different phases. Even the music videos relate to one another, where he's still in the suit, but he has different phases.
He's evolving, and this character's evolving now, and it's like a separate thing from the artist, but like it lives on kind of in its own world, you know? So yeah, I think that's very cool about this album, is that he's not only just put out a project of music, he's put out the music, he's worked in the character into the music videos and into his public appearances, and I think that's very interesting. So I respect him on that level. It's like, it's a very cool idea to bring it together like that. I still don't love the music, but it's cool. It's very cool what he's doing, and it's working. Like, it's all, you know, it gets people talking every time he shows up, and there's like a variation on his character. It's headlines now. It's like, whoa, like, what's this? You know, he's got bandages. Yeah, like, what's happening?
Even performing in bandages to keep that feeling for the character until he's into the next phase. Like, who does that? Nobody. Right? I mean, you got it right. You pretty much hit the nail on the head and pretty much covered everything. Right?
You know what's interesting though? I find, so the Grammy thing, I feel like, because he got snubbed on that, and I feel like you and I have spoken before about just the Grammys kind of like mattering less now, because I don't know, they don't seem to be making the choices that the people feel like are the right choices, and so it's like, how much do you want to invest in this organization that claims to be sort of recognizing, you know, artistry at the highest levels, but seems to be missing the mark on some of these artists. And I feel like, I don't know who I was talking to about this or where I read this, but somebody suggested that like Spotify should do an award show. And I thought that was a really good idea, actually, because I think if they did something like that, because they've got all the data, right? They got all the numbers and stuff. For like how many plays and stuff, and I'm sure, you know, the Grammys have access to this information, but make decisions anyway that are outside of those numbers. But I think it'd be a really good time for like someone new, anyway, it doesn't have to be Spotify, but for someone new to like come in and make an award show that kind of can capture the things that I feel like a lot of people think the Grammys are missing. And it could be Spotify. Like, Spotify could jump in right now and say, okay, we got an award show that will recognize the artists in the ways that people are expecting a little more. It just, I feel like the time is now for that. Like, people are a little weak on their affinity to the Grammys, and if someone came in just like right now with the, recognizing the artist who maybe got snubbed or whatever, it would just be the perfect time for that. Especially because like the Grammys is maybe a brand that doesn't connect with like younger people as much because it's such an old thing now. Something like Spotify or any other property that might be a little more connected to young people might be like the one to kind of capture that audience and then carry it on into the future,
I actually agree with you, because then artists like The Weeknd and this project.
Oh, actually, what this reminds me of too? When I was checking numbers, I forget what I searched, but I was just looking for like the top, I don't know, like top artists on Spotify over the last like 5 years or something. Canadians are running like the top 10 over the last like bunch of years. But you know which two names keep showing up? Drake and Weeknd. On those.
Surprise.
Yeah, and it was like not even over the top 10, like the top 3. It was like Drake number 1 for a bunch of years, but like Weeknd would be number 1 for a couple of years, and they would just like trade places. But it's crazy that two kids from Toronto are like running like music charts right now, So that's why I think I was thinking Spotify, and I think I read this somewhere else too. It's not my idea, but just like it would be a good time to do something like that.
Who knows? Maybe in the next couple of years, the Grammys might keep doing things that upset people, and next thing you know,
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna start an award show.
You never know. Hey, we're sitting here talking about this and you're laughing, but anything's possible these days. I mean, we're sitting here and we're doing this cast, and it's like anything's possible, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody might take this in and be like,
I'm gonna get Joe Budden to host it.
Oh man, Mr. Joey, Mr. Budden. Oh man, that guy. That would be an interesting show. I promise you.
Yeah, excellent show.
But in terms of a rating, for After Hours, what do you think this rating, in your opinion, should be out of 10? Because we usually, off camera, we've always done this for 100 of years now, but now's the first time we actually capture it. So what would you give this first one?
After Hours, Weeknd. I think because it's not my favorite from him, it also doesn't kind of fall in line with the sound that I love from him, but I can acknowledge that like it's having impact. It is part of this bigger idea that he's introduced with his character and stuff. So if I'm rating everything together, just impact and reach and the ideas that he's included in this project, and even the way he's using the sounds. Like again, I don't love the sounds, but like I like the idea of him borrowing these like kind of 80s synth sounds. Like all that seems really cool. The way he's using them and making them just like sound modern. So I think altogether I bring that to like a 7. It's a solid 7 for me.
All right. I feel you on that. So this is where I step in now. Coming from my perspective, you pretty much covered everything. So for me, listening to the entire album top to bottom, I give it an 8 out of 10. I mean, I understand it's not the quintessential Weeknd, but in terms of growth and development as an artist, it is the quintessential Weeknd, because out of all the work he's done, this is the first time he's decided to step outside of himself, not be a shadowy figure, be front stage, take on all the limelight, which he normally doesn't do. He just normally does his thing and then that's it. You don't see or hear him. But then to actually take on this role and be like, you know what? I'm going to be center stage. I'm going to do everything myself. I'm going to be the character. No matter how many years it's going to take till this whole full thing, reaches its zenith, if you will. And then he moves on to something else. Who knows what this means for him down the road? Maybe he'll play another character in his next album. So for me, I think it's dope when you're able to have a concept album and not just come with some typical, hey, I'm gonna make some good music and then go home. But when you bring something special to the table, that's when people start to remember you. It doesn't have to be the greatest album to be memorable. It just has to have a stamp, which it does, because like you said, you use elements from, you know, music from the past and meshed it with something more modern to create this I guess you could say superficial feel where it's just like it's nothing else. But it's not for everybody, I will say that. And like I said, I give the album an 8 out of 10. So there you have it, guys. It's Triple Crown Dawn, Perspective by Peers, up in the place. And hopefully you'll get another surprise entry from me and the homie some other time soon. And I hope you like it, share it, enjoy it. And for those who are coming back again to watch, thank you very much. And to those who haven't seen us before, especially the homie right here, welcome aboard and hope you enjoy everything that we do. Stay tuned. Yeah. Only in my prime, age better with time. Look in my eyes, nothing is enough crime.